At it again, and we got to talk about Kamala Harris because, of course, in light of her devastating loss, embarrassing loss, where she lost every single swing state there was, Trump swept every single one, but she also lost the popular vote, which obviously is something that Republicans typically don't really have to win in order to become president, i.e., 2016, when Trump did not win the popular vote, but he still became president. But this time around, people woke up and I actually made a YouTube short on it. I think it was necessary that 2020 up until now was the way that it was, because it woke a lot of people up to how terrible Democrats really are. You're even seeing some folks who you would call in the Democrat Party kind of, it seems like, starting to switch sides, and TYT's Anna Kasparian, I think, is definitely one of those folks. And in this video, we're talking about a little bit of Kamala Harris, because Kamala is rumored to be thinking about running for president again. And I showed you guys in maybe a week ago, probably about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, where there was a poll amongst Democrat voters, and they still chose Kamala Harris to be their next candidate. Yeah, I know. It's pretty wild. I know. It's pretty crazy. But if she doesn't run for president, she plans on running for governor of California, which TYT doesn't really like. With that being said, let's dive in.
Some senior party officials said to be open to Kamala Harris running again in 4 years. Politico asking the question, are Democrats coconut pilled? Where are you on this future?
Well, that was Fox News anchor Bill Hemmer throwing to Lindy Lee, who's the DNC Mid-Atlantic Regional Chair. Probably not for long, because she is about to devastate Kamala Harris.
This is not what America wants. November 5th was a decisive defeat for the Democratic Party. She lost every single swing state. It wasn't a squeaker like it was in 2016. This was a resounding defeat. And right now, Kamala Harris is indulging in delusions of running for governor of California, possibly in 2026, or even president again in 2028. America has said this is not what we don't want to be coconut pilled. We do not want Kamala Harris. We don't want failed border policies. And I feel like I'm liberated and I can finally tell the truth that the Democrats completely failed on the border. Title 42 was a tremendous mistake, and no one is willing to say that. And you shouldn't be called bigoted or racist because you want strong borders for the United States. And you should be able to say that the economy was ailing under the Biden-Harris administration, that price hikes did indeed happen, but they denied that for the first 3 years of the administration. And when they finally did something, it was too late.
Now look, Lindy Lee is a bundler for the Democratic Party. She raised a lot of money for Kamala Harris's campaign, and she feels that she was lied to about how she was performing in the polling, lied to by the Harris campaign about the likelihood of beating Donald Trump. And so she's been making the media rounds, and you can tell that she is really soured on the Democratic Party.
And she's not the only one. There's a lot of folks who are in the Democrat Party that are souring on the Democrat Party. I literally just was reading a report on X about Pennsylvania Democrats. Pennsylvania Democrats lost supporters while Republicans gained supporters. Gained. Democrats lost, I want to say it was about 2,500. I'm trying to find it again. I had it pulled up. But I literally just read that. Hold on, wait, I think this is it. Yes. So Democrats lost active voters while Republicans gained over 7,000 since the end of November. Party gained. So Republicans gained 7,400 new active voters, while Democrats lost just over 2,000 since November, since the end of November. Okay. So, yes, there are a lot of people in the Democrat Party that are souring on the Democrat Party. And you know what's funny? And we're going to get back to this video really quickly, but it's funny how Democrats always accuse Trump of being like a narcissist and all about himself, and he can never, admit his wrongdoings. But that's exactly what Democrats are doing right now. You see some of these Democrats like Anna Kasparian, we'll get into it right here in just a second, admitting, and Lindy Lee, which is the Asian lady you saw there at the beginning, admitting that, yo, the Democrats effed up. But you will never hear that from the Democrat Party elites. You'll never hear it from, the Kamala Harrises, the Joe Bidens, the Barack Obamas, the Hillary Clintons of the world. They will never admit that they are wrong. Ever. But, that's a good thing for us, right? In 2028, it's going to be a fantastic thing. If they continue this, they will lose again, and probably even worse. But let's continue.
But someone who hasn't soured on the Democratic Party is Joy Behar, yet even she has some pretty harsh words for the Democratic Party and, more importantly, the Kamala Harris campaign. Take a look.
The thing the Democrats do that most politicians do, I think the Republicans did it back in the day with John McCain. It's like, it's your turn. Kamala's in position, it's her turn. Yeah. Joe Biden, he did not retire early enough so that there could be an open, what do they call it? Primary, exactly, thank you. That's a simple word, and yet there would have been an open primary. Yeah. We would have seen what was out there a little bit more. It's just as bad as what they're doing with Trump, which is this loyalty oath that everybody has to take and bow down and kiss his ring. It's not about who's the best person. It's about who do you feel is in the next in line to do the job with the Democrats and with the Republicans.
Obviously,
I agree in part with that. With the Democrats, yeah, Kamala was next in line, so they pushed her to the front. And people like Joy Behar sat on national television and made it sound and seem as if Kamala was the greatest thing since sliced bread. When she knew, she just admitted that Kamala wasn't their best candidate. She literally just admitted it. But for the past 4 or 5 months now, she's been on television along with all of these other Democrat talking heads, the Joy Reids and the Rachel Maddow's of the world, the Mika Brzezinski's and Dana Bash's, of course, and the Caitlin Collins and Abby Phillips, right? All of these folks, all of them, Joe Scarborough, right? All of them, okay? They've all been saying that Kamala is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And we were women haters because we didn't want to support Kamala. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, they knew she wasn't a good candidate. So for me, they've just lost all credibility. What credibility they had left, right? Because they've already lost a lot. And maybe I'll talk about that in another video. I'm not gonna dive deep on that because I may make another video on that because there's something interesting going on behind the scenes with all of that. But yeah, now they're admitting it. What do you know? The right was right once again. That's just a recurring thing. And it's not even trying to brag. It's not even trying to be arrogant or nothing. But it seems as if the right is always right. And I made a video on this just the other day. Stephen A. Smith said the same thing. The right is always right. We're always right. But of course, in the mainstream media, oh no, they're women haters. They hate this. They hate that. Blah, blah. And it's all BS. It's all BS. We're right the entire time.
Implying, and this would be a correct statement, that Kamala Harris was not the best person for the job or the best candidate to run against Trump. And look, finally, even Jill Biden is taking some shots at Kamala Harris. If you don't believe me, take a look at this.
So I hope that you all feel that sense of, peace and light, and that just for a moment when you leave here today that you feel, I don't know, a sense of joy. Because I think we all need we all need to feel joy now during this time of the season, during this time. So anyway, okay, now I'll start. You're all reading into that.
Are we? Are we?
Yeah, so
I knew there was a grudge there when she went and voted and wore all red. No, I mean, like, how often do you see a completely red suit? How often have you seen someone wear a completely red suit? Not a dress. She was wearing like a suit. How often have you seen that? Yeah, and to do that on election day. All red? Really? That's the outfit you chose to wear? Maybe it was a dress. I don't think it was a dress. I'm pretty sure it was a suit. But either way, like, you chose to wear all red on election day of all days? Really? Quite interesting. And then in Paris, I believe it was, when she was sitting next to Trump, she had the biggest smile on her face. The biggest smile. Even when Trump visited the White House, the biggest smile on her face. I had never seen Jill Biden smile that big. So I already knew that.
The rumors are that Jill Biden always hated Kamala Harris because of the one line in the debate back in 2020 in the primaries where she talked about how Joe Biden was in favor of segregation on buses back in the day, and then she never forgave her for that. Oh my God, Queen Biden, way to hold on to that grudge,
right?
And hurt your own party in 1,000 different ways just because you're bitter. Anyways, so now speaking of bitter though, I'm a little bit bitter about The View. Because when we said Biden was too old, they were like, how dare you, right? When we said there should be an open primary, they said, how dare you? When we said, hey, the Democrats are asking for loyalty oaths and we're not supposed to be the authoritarian party, we're supposed to be more open. They're like, how dare you? Now all of a sudden The View is like, oh my God, you know what? Why didn't anybody tell us Biden was too old?
Yeah, they'll go back to the loyalty oaths, believe me.
Of course,
they will.
The View is the masters of loyalty oaths. If you don't pledge for whoever is the establishment corporate robot, they'll take your head off on The View. So, Joy, I appreciate your new opinion, but it's very, very different than your old opinion, which is like a minute ago, and it dramatically different. By the way, there's one thing I disagree here. I think Kamala Harris will probably win in a cakewalk for governor.
No!
Okay.
No! What are you doing? What are you doing?
No, I'm telling you the reality, whether you like it or not.
What are you doing?
Democratic voters in California love to obey. And so
oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm gonna move, Cenk. I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna move.
I'm not saying I'm in favor of it. I'm telling you what's, like if the Democratic Party said, we anoint Kamala Harris, a giant percentage of Democrats in California would go, yes, we obey. We will take the loyalty oath. It doesn't matter how bad she is.
This state cannot survive another incompetent Democrat leading it.
Leading it. Democrat like Kamala.
No, we just can't. Okay, like anyway.
I mean, y'all could have had Larry Elder and you would have been all right, but you chose Gavin Newsom still. So that's on you now, okay? That is completely and entirely on you. And when Kamala decides to run, whether that be for president or governor, president, she won't win. Governor of California, she's winning that for sure. She's winning that for sure. California's already voted for her. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. 3 times. Matter of fact, technically 4 times. 4 times you guys have already voted for her. So what's to say that you're not going to do it again? You voted for AG. And you voted for her to be in the Senate. Then you voted for her to be the vice president. And then you voted for it again in this recent election to be president. She won California. So California has voted for this woman 4 times already. So yeah, if she runs for governor of California, I guarantee it, she will win that. She will win that. 100%. 100%. California's doomed. Doomed.
Anyway, so like people are egging her on. Okay, apparently she's like in a wait and see mode. How about you wait and see like your way out of public life and go do what you're supposed to do. Go work in the private sector, go do the lobbying thing, whatever it is, but do not run as governor of California. Yeah. Do not.
So look, here's the thing that they still won't say that is definitely true, which is that she was a disaster. She was a terrible candidate. But it's still to this day with all their little, oh, golly gee, I wish somebody would have told us, right? But they're not saying the core thing, which is she was a talking robot and she could not answer normal questions like a human being. She had her scripts ready and she would just take the script, her talking points, and match it to any question that you asked her. It was Sarah Palin-esque. Yes, I said it, and yes, she definitely deserved it. And no, we should want no part of her for any campaign at all, okay? And I don't know what coconut pilled means. That's a thing that people made up that doesn't even make any goddamn sense. Okay, and finally on Linda Lee, the person say, so look, she's more conservative than I am, way more, and she's more from the donor class, etc. But at the same time, we don't have to drive everybody out of the party, right? So she has a different opinion on immigration, so what? right? And it turns out that was the majority opinion in America, even though portions of it that I might not agree with. But I brought her up because she said a word that a lot of people are feeling. She said, I feel liberated. And that's because the establishment in the Democratic Party is so oppressive that if you disagree 1% in either direction or any direction, they'll take your head off. And then after the election, pretending as if they're open-minded is just garbage. The next time they'll do the same exact thing and they'll demand your obedience and compliance with probably the very worst candidate.
Please don't run for California. Please, I'm begging you. Like, the Washington Post reports that as soon as she lost to Trump on November 5th, some Harris supporters seized on the idea of a gubernatorial run, including wealthy donors. God, these wealthy donors are gonna be the death of me. Eager to see her take a leadership role in such a powerful post. Quote,
what leadership? She showed no leadership when she ran for president.
Leadership, she
Oh, here's my positions on price gouging. Oh, never mind. Mark Cuban and the donors say that I shouldn't have those positions, so I don't have those positions. Oh, I love the Palestinians, but I'm going to crush them.
Let me please finish this graphic, because of course, it's always the same people. The people that drove the conversation within 18 minutes of the election being called was the finance team.
Of course.
She took $1 billion that was donated to her and not only spent it on nonsense in the span of 3 months, her campaign went into debt. You want her running the budget in California? This is nuts. Okay, I mean.
Well, look, guys, there's two things.
I mean, that's the Democrat philosophy. Spin, because you try to buy support. That's the Democrat philosophy, because the policies are absolutely garbage. So they pay people basically for support. They bribe them. Hey, we'll give you this. We'll give you that. You know, hey, if you guys want to rob stores, go ahead. We're not going to arrest you because you won't be able to call the cops. Nobody will be able to call the cops on you. As a matter of fact, we're going to defund the police. So we're not even going to have a lot of them there. Now, that's recently changed in this past election, and some of these criminals are finding out the hard way. Oh, crap. Like, they actually arrested people now. But for the longest time, that was the case. But then also, Gavin Newsom has talked about one of the things that he ran on was fixing the homeless crisis. Do you know how much money they've spent on that homeless crisis? And there's still homeless people out on the streets. And I know it's all BS, because you guys remember when the president of, I believe it's China, however you say his name, I can never pronounce his name properly. Something Ping, okay? When he came, all of a sudden the homeless people disappeared off the streets. They were all gone, randomly. Isn't that amazing? When push came to shove, he could clean up the streets, actually. There wasn't any poop on the streets. There wasn't homeless people, walking around, camping up on the sidewalks. All of that completely disappeared. Everything was clean. For the president of China, the dictator of China, interesting how that works. You cleaned it up for him, but you won't clean it up for your own citizens. Wasteful spending. California was in a major budget surplus. It's the same thing with Chicago. Mayor Brandon Johnson is having to ask the citizens of Chicago to spend more money on taxes because he's blown through their budget. But that's the Democrat Party for you. Spend. It's like they think money grows on trees. We all heard that saying growing up as kids. What, you think money grow on trees? I mean, I wish it did, but that's not the truth. It's not the truth. You can only spend what you're bringing in, but Democrats are like, well, spend it. We'll just tax you more. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. And that's who Democrats wanted to run the country. Someone who blew through $1.5 billion in 3 months and is now $20 million in debt. Ended the campaign $20 million in debt in 3 months. Where do you blow through $1.5 billion $1.5 billion. Where do you spend that? How do you blow through that? You have to be recklessly spending money. Like on the Call Her Daddy fake set, that the story is, allegedly, they spent $100,000 on a cardboard set for the Call Her Daddy podcast. 100,000? Bro, post up in a room, bro. Nobody gives a crap about the back. I mean, y'all care about my background because y'all always be killing me with my wall. I'm going to clean that up eventually, all right? But y'all mainly come for the content, right? You don't care so much about, I mean, you make comments on it, but it ain't the end of the world. What matters is the content. They spent $100,000 on a fake room. Bro, it would have been more cost effective to like buy or to rent out a room in a hotel that's high up and you set up 2 chairs right by a window with a great open view of a city. That could have been your backdrop. Easy peasy. Oh my goodness. And you would have spent like less than 1% of $100,000. Like it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But hey, once again, that's the Democrat Party for you. And it's good to see that some people are waking up. And hopefully people like Anna Kasparian, I highly doubt Cenk will. Maybe. I feel like he's starting to come along a little bit. He's a little shaky, but I definitely feel like Anna Kasparian could vote Republican. Could vote Republican, for sure. And I hope that they do. I hope that they do. Because, one of the things that I was saying throughout this past election was, especially when Biden was still running, was that Biden managed to do one thing, and one thing only that was great. And that was he united the country against the Democrat Party. There were a lot of folks, and I said this. Following this next election, there's going to be a lot of people in the Republican Party, the voting base, that you wouldn't think would ever vote Republican, right? You look at them and you're like, no, that's a Democrat. Nope, they're Republican. They voted for Trump. And they're going to vote for a Republican in 2028. And they're going to vote for Republicans in 2 years from now, right? And lo and behold, look what we have. We have people who like Anna Kasparian. Now, I'm not saying that she will vote Republican, but I'm saying that it's definitely possible. I could see, I wouldn't be shocked if come next election, Anna Kasparian says, yeah, I voted for J.D. Vance, or yeah, I voted for Byron Donalds, or yeah, I voted for Candace Owens or Larry Elder. Yeah, I voted for them. I wouldn't be shocked. Would you? Let me know. Peace and love. I'm out.